Good morning, everyone. In the last chapter, we learnt about the spread of colonialism in India. Europeans they almost entered in every part of India. They started to rule on India. Trading was the main reason, but afterward they conquered the land of India and they started to rule. Okay, now we are going to start with the next chapter, chapter number 4, colonialism and the Marathas. Now in this chapter we are going to learn some points. Those points are colonialism versus the Maratha Empire, Portuguese and Maratha Empire, Dutch and Maratha Empire, French and Maratha Empire, British and Maratha Empire, Siddhi and Maratha Empire, and last one Afghans and Maratha Empire. So this chapter is little bit lengthy. You can see that one by one we'll start. Especially here in this chapter we are going to focus on the work of Shivaji Maharaj, what he did for Swarajya. Okay, so here we will begin with our chapter. So in this chapter, first we are going to talk about the great leader of India, Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj, who had foreseen the ulterior motives of these foreigners and their waves of infiltration. So what he did, he built up strategies to arrest their advances in India. The immediate measures were taken by him in this direction included creation of a strong naval force and the construction of sea force. But going further, I want to introduce you Shivaji Maharaj with his background. So as all we know that Shivaji Maharaj, his full name is Shivaji Bhosle, who was also known as Chhatrapati Shivaji Raje Bhosle. He was the founder of Maratha Empire in Western India in 1674. He was born in February 19, 1627. He died April 3rd, 1680. His father name was Shahaji and his mother name was Jizabai. Shivaji Maharaj was the person with his ideology of Hindavi Swaraj, that is freedom for Hindustan. He decided to directly challenge Bijapur Sultanate rule and eventually the Mughal Empire to establish the Maratha Swarajya or the Maratha kingdom for their Marathas and of the Marathas. Now here don't forget to mention Shivaji Maharaj's kingdom served as Hindu bulwark against Mughal powers within India. His brilliant strategies, he was famous for his brilliant strategies like Ganimi Kawa, tactical management on battlefield, acute management and administrative skills helped him to lay the foundation of the future Maratha Empire in India. He was a great innovator as well as commander. He successfully used effective tactics, strategies for expansion of territories and forts, infantry units, adaptation of strategies, battle plans and formation, whereby he succeeded in time and again his vastly bigger and highly determined enemies. Okay, now the question is that who is Maratha? So the Marathas were a Marathi speaking warrior groups from the western Deccan Plateau. Present day it is known as Maharashtra, who rose to prominence by establishing a Hindvi Swarajya, meaning a self-rule of Hindu or Indian people. The Marathas became prominent in the 17th century under the leadership of Shivaji Maharaj, who revolted against the Adil Shahi dynasty and carved out a kingdom with Raigad as his capital. So the first thing which he did, that is, he made a strong naval force and construction of sea force, as well as he levied octroi on British salt trade as a measures to protect local salt trade. Now what is this? Those days the salt was an important commodity that was brought from Goa and Mumbai. Salt was a commodity that was manufactured in Portuguese territories as well as in the Konkan. The salt in Sangameshwar in the Konkan was not as fine, and the people therefore bought the salt from Goa. Shivaji Raje therefore imposed a duty on imported salt to bring its price on par with the one manufactured by his people. Trade was important as a source of revenue, and the Marathas merchant marine travelled as far as the Arabian state of Muscat and Persian ports. At the same time, he encouraged the traders, Indian and European, to trade in order to boost the income of his inland territories. However, Shivaji was not in favor of granting the Europeans any place in the hinterland. His foresight comes out here. The Ajnapatra, a treatise on his administration, states their interference should therefore be restricted to extent of only their coming and going. They should strictly never be given places to settle. They should not at all be allowed to visit the seaforts. If some places has sometimes to be given for a factory, it should not be given at the mouth of a river or on the shore of a sea. It should be given at 2 or 4 famous towns distance about 8 or 16 miles from the mouth of the sea. These places must be such that it must be low-lying and within the range and control of neighboring town. So these were the dialogues by the Shivaji Maharaj which was written in Ajnapatra. Contrary to these wise admonitions of the Shivaji Raje, at about the same time one finds Aurangzeb granting the English the places at Surat and the Hooghly to carry out their trade, and in 1667 even awarded them a remission in the customs duty. Not only Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj but later Chhatrapati Sambhaji Maharaj also fought the Portuguese. Chimpanji Appa, brother of Bajirao Peshwa I, defeated the Portuguese at Vasai. The Marathas were the only Indian rulers to adopt a policy of resistance against the European colonizers. Student, in the last lesson we have discussed that Portuguese, French, Dutch and British all they came to India, and what was their main aim? To do the trading. But they did not stop there. In the course of time they also grabbed the political power. It is often said that they came to India with weighing scales but used swords and ultimately seized the Indian throne. And the Portuguese, they were first to arrive in India, and these Europeans, they were mentioned as Firangis in the historical documents of that period. Okay students, so we'll move towards the next point, 4.1. From that first point we'll talk about, that is Portuguese and Maratha Empire. Now the Portuguese, they had their forts at different parts like Diu, Daman, Sanjan, Atori, Vasai, Karanja, Chaul, etc. Because of all these forts, the region it was known as Bardesh, which was well protected. Europeans, they used to store all ammunitions at Panvel. Now what is this Bardesh? Bardesh is the northern region of Goa. Here you can see in the map. So the Goa's northern part, it is known as the Bardesh. So student, Europeans, they used to store all ammunition. Ammunition means a supply or the quantity of bullets and shells. So they used to store all the bullets and the shells at Panvel. Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj first came in contact with the Portuguese when he established his control over Kalyan and Bhiwandi. Now the Portuguese, they were alarmed when Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj built a strong Maratha navy force. Maratha navy was very supreme as compared to other Indian powers. At that time, British and their supremacy, navy was not there yet in India until 1608. Not only this, but in the beginning the Portuguese, they had extended technological help for shipbuilding to the Marathas. So this was the surprising thing for the Marathas people, because in the beginning they gave their helping hand to Marathas for the technological help. However, the Portuguese governor of Goa withdrew this help. The Portuguese promptly provided help to Siddhis when Maratha army was organizing an attack on the Janjira fort against them. In the year 1736, Siddhis of Murud Janjira set out in a battle with the forces of Maratha Peshwa Baji Rao. On 19 April 1736, Maratha warriors Chimpaji Appa attacked gathering forces in the encampment of the Siddhis near Rewaz. When the confrontation ended, 1500 Siddhis, including their leader Siddhi Sat, were killed. Peace was concluded in the September 1736, but the Siddhis were confined to only Janjira, Gowalkot and Anjanvel. Thus their power greatly reduced. However, Janjira remained unconquered until it became part of Indian territory after independence from the British in 1947. Portuguese and the Marathas, in the matters of diplomatic relations, adopted policies to suit the situation. In 1665, the Portuguese, they stopped 13 ships of Marathas while it was passing by the port of the Karnataka coast. But soon they released those ships because they knew that the Maratha the Maratha was more powerful than them. They were knowing that Maratha's navy was more stronger than their navies. In 1666, while the fort of Ponda, ruled by Adil Shah, was under siege by Marathas, the Portuguese used to supply ammunitions to the Adil Shahi Killedar. Ponda in those days was ruled by Adil Shah Empire, where they had built a huge fort known as Ponda Court. In 1675, Shivaji Maharaj attacked Ponda fort and captured it from all sides. There was rigorous bloodshed and death in this battle. Adil Shah armies faced a strong defeat in this battle. On the other hand, they let Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj cross through their territory when he was returning after the sack of Surat. Battle of Surat, also known as the sack of Surat, was a land battle that took place on January 5, 1664 near the city of Surat, Gujarat, India between Maratha ruler Shivaji Maharaj and Inayat Khan, a Mughal captain. The Marathas defeated small Mughal force and engaged in sacking Surat. When Mirza Raje Jai Singh had attacked Swarajya, the Portuguese extended support to Marathas. The Battle of Purandar showed the Marathas the difficulty in facing the overwhelming force led by Mirza Raje Jai Singh and revealed to the Mughal the tenacity of the Marathas. Thereafter, Shivaji agreed to surrender to Mirza Raje rather than risk the decimation of his forces and the ruin of his homeland. Aurangzeb sought to sign the Treaty of Purandar and invited Shivaji to Agra rather than face a protracted and expensive campaign to conquer Marathas. As a part of settlement, Shivaji Maharaj agreed to give up 23 of his forts and 4 lakh horns to the Mughals. He also agreed to let his son Sambhaji become a Mughal Sardar and serve the Mughal court of Aurangzeb. So student, till here we have learned that we are talking about the colonialism and the Marathas. We have seen that almost in every part of India the Europeans they conquered the land and they started to rule. Only Shivaji Maharaj he was the person who had foresight and he knew that what the Portuguese they are planning, what they are going to do. So he was alarmed. He built a strong naval force against Europeans. As well as here we can see that the Portuguese they helped Adil Shahi and other Mughals against the Shivaji Maharaj, but still Shivaji Maharaj he had hopes for Swarajya and he decided that he is going to win. The peoples had not only that but one day he will have in success to get Swarajya. So here we have finished with the 2 pages of our next chapter. If you have any difficulty in this, so you can drop that in your comment box. Next part in next lecture we are going to continue. Thank you.